Good afternoon and good morning. I hope you can hear me. Okay, my name is Sarah. I'm working at GIZ as the PR and Communication and Knowledge Management Coordinator. Today, we are very happy to welcome all of you to this Sustainable Consumption and Production Dialogue series. It is a second episode on the topic of boosting sustainable public procurement through enhanced market information, e-catalogues, and e-marketplaces. We will be together roughly about 2 hours. Before we start, I would like to take a few minutes to introduce you to this Kudo application, as many of you or some of you are not familiar with this platform. So in front of you, you should see my slide showing, okay? To the left-hand side, it will show live video. So if you would like to see who switch on the camera, you can have a look here as well. And if you would like to see the presentation, you click on the presentation. On the right hand side, there's the sharing mode, especially for the speakers. Okay, those who want to share the slide, you can click this one. And then there's the message function where you can type message, okay, to all participants, or if you need technical assistance. Also, you can send a private message to a specific participant as well. And then I would like to draw your attention to the document section. So after each speaker's presentation, we will upload the presentation here, okay? So you can download for your reference. And then the user list will show the list of participants. Today, we have about 24 people registered online at the moment. Okay, now 25. I think the number will be around 30 plus, okay? That's about that much. However, if your colleague, okay, would like to get access to the recordings, we'll also make them available on the GIZ Thailand YouTube channel. So you can tune in there as well. And then down below, you will see the language. Okay, let me go to the next slide because I would like to, okay, one second, it's not, uh, okay, one moment. Okay, so if you go to the next one, you will see down below, okay, you will have the language option where you can click to see, click to listen, okay, in English, okay, which is the original language, or Thai or Bahasa. So today the sessions are being translated into Thai and Bahasa. Okay, so you can just click on the language and then you should be able to hear our interpreters. Okay, and then this session is being recorded. If you do not wish to be recorded, please do not turn on the camera. And lastly, please mute your microphone to avoid the unintended noises. Okay. All right. With that, I would like to hand over to Mr. Kai Hoffman, who is the project director of the SCP Hub at GIZ and then also the moderator for this session. Kai, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sarah, for this introduction, and good morning, good afternoon to all of you in Southeast Asia and in Europe. Very welcome to this dialogue series that we are conducting here every 2 months on sustainable consumption and production topics. Today, as Sarah has mentioned, we are talking about boosting the SPP through enhanced market information. So, and these are the e-catalogues and the e-marketplaces. So I'm really looking forward to this. As you know, there in Southeast Asia, we are already quite advanced, that there are already many green and sustainable products on the market. And many companies provide services which are green and certified already. And of course, we're using the SPP mechanism to develop the market power and the market penetration so that the government's market power can basically support this. However, On the ground, the public procurer is facing a lot of problems, and we know this is very true. First of all, they don't know what kind of tender specifications they should put. They don't know which products are available on the market, which services are available on the market. And so for them, it is very difficult. It's much easier to put easy technical specification. That's why a lot of Southeast Asian countries have already started to develop e-marketplaces. Basically, these are online directories which are listing the green products and show what is available on the market. But there also, a lot of these tools also provide information about technical specifications and which kind of standards are met by the products. For example, also they provide which kind of eco-labels the products have. But this is only so overcoming one barrier. This is like the basic information barrier. The second barrier that the public procurers on the ground are facing is the time and also the skill to evaluate these criteria and to put these criteria and to assess bids, for example, of different product types. So some of the countries have started to develop advanced digital tools, and these are called e-catalogues. These are somehow like e-shopping places, as you probably know from every day. In Thailand, here we have Lazada. It's a very big, or of course, Amazon is one of the best known e-shopping places in the world. These provide the opportunity to procurers to assess different products against each other and to also overcome these barriers. A second very positive aspect is that they provide automatic data collection for the M&E system, which I think is a very important aspect. Our colleagues from the Öko-Institute have developed a publication that summarizes the knowledge and also the best practices that exist around the world on e-marketplaces and e-catalogues. And my colleague Yim has already posted this link in the messages here in the chat, where you can find this publication. And with this, I would like to now go to the agenda. I'm very happy that yes?
No, nothing. Okay, please.
Okay. The agenda. So I'm very happy to have Ashley with us. Ashley McLennan is a researcher at the Öko-Institute. She has been working on green pay procurement, e-procurement tools for some years. So she will provide us an overview and start the topic. Afterwards, we have a little bit of time for question and answers. So here, please put your questions into the chat so that we can put them on the slides and have them answered bit by bit. Afterwards, I'm very excited to have Kunjarin with us. She is here, a colleague working with me in the pollution control department of the Ministry of Environment in Thailand. She's the director of the Planning and Evaluation Subdivision in the Environmental Analysis Center here, and worked with green pay procurement since many, many years. And she will introduce the Green Card of Thailand and also other e-tools that are available in Thailand. Thailand, as being one of the front runners, can definitely share some good experience from their experience over the last years, how to use e-tools more impactful. Afterwards, I'm very happy that Ibu Dwi will join us from the LKPP. This is the Central Procurement Agency of the Indonesian government. So she's the Director for Business Climate Development and International Cooperation. And I'm very looking forward because she will introduce two different tools which they use in the Indonesian government. One is called CIRUP, Central Government Procurement System, and the other one, Tokodaring. And I think we will hear a little bit more about this later. Afterwards, I have the honor to also have a speaker from Malaysia, Mr. Siam, joining us. He will provide us a short overview about what Malaysia does in the Mahijau directory. And we will also have Pak Ari coming from the Indonesian LKPP again to have question and answers related to e-procurement, e-marketplaces. Finally, I will have the time to wrap up. Next, please. So this today's session is part of a bigger SCP Dialogue series where we have started already back in April with introducing monitoring and evaluation systems, as well as introducing the UNEP SPP index. And there will be others to follow. This dialogue series is to increase the policymakers' knowledge and to connect them with different best practices. We want to inspire you with country case studies where your peers in the region, but also across the globe, have produced best practices, business models, and so that we can support the implementation of eco-labeling and green pipe procurement. And of course, it's simply to gain knowledge and to connect the community. Next, please. So, yes, as I've mentioned before, we are part of a dialogue series. We have had the first one on M&E. Today, we're talking about the e-catalogues and marketplaces. In October, we are planning to do CE, circular economy product service criteria and circular procurement, also including the very interesting topic of product service systems, where we have ample experiences also in Southeast Asia. In December, then in 2022, we will end the year with the GPP on public works sectors, here specifically looking at materials, components, and services. We know that in all our countries, the question of public works and green pipe procurement and public works becomes more and more important. Then we are likely going to talk in February 23 about ICT products and focusing specifically on data center. Here, I would like to also promote a webinar taking place on the 29th of this month of June from our colleagues from the UNEP, talking also about ICT use and ICT green pipe procurement. So I think if we take these two together, this ICT webinar on green pipe procurement from the UNEP and then us focusing on data center in February, this will be a very interesting combination of knowledge. And we will end this webinar series in April 23 with an interministerial coordination and definitely also the topic of moving from voluntary currently to mandatory. We have different policies from Europe and also now starting in Southeast Asia, where green pipe procurement becomes mandatory. And this, of course, will again boost the possibility or the impact of green pipe procurement. So let me now hand over to Ashley. Ashley, are you here?
Yes. Hello, Kai. Good morning.
Great.
Good afternoon.
And then I would suggest, Ashley, without further ado, let's start and provide us an overview about e-marketplaces and e-catalogues.
Great. Well, thank you very much for having me here today. It's a real pleasure to be talking on this subject. These digital tools for sustainable public procurement are so far a little bit under-recognized, but they definitely have a huge amount of potential, and I think are going to be kind of the next big thing in scaling up SPP. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Good morning from Germany. And as Kai has already given some background into the barriers to SPP, this was really our starting point for some recent research that we did into the topic, which is, what are the big barriers? What do we need to overcome to really scale up sustainable procurement so that it's the majority of the procurement that we're doing? And how do we get to this point where public buyers are really having an impact on the market and enabling a shift of the whole market towards sustainability? So procurers need to understand what's available in the market. And this is not easy because they're often responsible for buying for multiple product categories. And it's not possible for them to keep up with what is sustainable in all of these different product categories, especially when sustainability is a dynamic area and there's a lot of technological advancements going on. So market awareness is a big barrier to developing technical specifications. And then also just the procurement related skills of translating sustainability into technical specifications and award criteria. This requires training, it requires confidence, it requires experience. So that's another barrier to SPP. And then the time that it takes to do this. It is, of course, quicker to just compare lowest price rather than taking into account sustainability and comparing products on multiple criteria. So there's several large barriers, and we started thinking, are there any new ways to overcome these that go beyond the kind of traditional route of more training, more awareness raising? Is there anything that can be taken from the digital transformation that we're going through to overcome all of these barriers at once? And by looking around at current practice, especially in Southeast Asia or Asia in general, which has a lot of emerging good examples of innovation, we found that e-marketplaces and e-catalogues are on the rise. And we published a recent pre-study with GIZ on how these e-catalogues are being used in SPP. So I'm going to give an overview of the different types of e-marketplaces and e-catalogues that are being used currently, and I'll do a recap at the end. But this is quite a new topic area, so please also feel free to ask questions throughout in the chat and after the presentation, and we can help clarify some of the differences between these different types of tools. So first of all, there is the e-marketplace tool. And this is essentially online lists of sustainable products and services, especially online lists of eco-labeled products. Some examples, we're going to have some examples of this today, especially the Thai Green Cart, which is an excellent example of a green e-marketplace. And these are information tools that help procurers by showing what green or sustainable products are available on the market, and by saving them the time of developing their own technical specifications and looking for products because they're all available in one place. The way that an e-marketplace, which is an information tool, can be used depends on the regulatory framework in the country. So if competitive bidding is required in all procurement procedures, then an e-marketplace can be a useful place for procurers to check first that products are available on the market. And they can also find different technical specifications on the e-marketplace and check, the energy efficiency of products on the market or the eco-labels that they're using, and use that to develop their technical specifications. It might be the case that the regulatory framework allows pre-qualification or restricted competition procedures. So in this case, e-marketplace can be used to help procurers identify and directly contact suppliers for quotes. And a third regulatory condition that might be possible is direct purchase, especially if it's under a certain threshold. It might be possible for procurers to go directly to a supplier and ask for a product or service. And an e-marketplace is really helpful in this situation because it helps procurers compare products and services very easily and identify lowest cost, best value opportunities on the market. So in all of these cases, however, what's really important is that the list of products and services are verified by a third party. It means that they're checked, that they really do hold an eco label, or that they really do meet sustainability criteria. And this is really important because it enables procurers to use the list with confidence, and it prevents any later problems when the goods provided, if they weren't to meet the required sustainability specifications. So this third-party verification is still a very important aspect, even though the e-marketplace is just for information. But as you'll notice here, I said that the benefits of the e-marketplace is that they help with market awareness and with time, but they don't necessarily address this issue of skills, or the development of suitable tenders and the awarding of contracts. And for this, we move into a second broad category of digital tool, which is the e-catalogue. And an e-catalogue is an online shop, basically. This is where procurers can go and buy directly from suppliers using the online tool. And in this case, all of the goods and services on the online tool have to be listed there in a way that's compliant with procurement regulation. And that's really what separates e-catalogues from the information tool that is an e-marketplace. So the principles of transparency and fairness and safeguarding against corruption are essential in order to enable procurers to buy directly from online shops. And when we looked into what practices are already being used by countries, we found 4 kind of subcategories of e-catalogues that are already being used in practice. So the first of these is using framework agreements or multiple award schedules to create e-catalogues. The next is creating e-catalogues based on direct purchase or request for quotation mechanisms, so under threshold procurement. There's also an example of an e-catalogue which allows users to order already purchased items that have been bought centrally and in bulk by a central procurement agency. And then the final practical example that we found is e-catalogues that have been developed by a supplier directly as part of one contract. So I'll go through each of these in a bit more detail now. So the first type of e-catalogue is the framework agreement e-catalogue. In this case, a central procurement agency issues a call for competition to the market. They receive bids from the market, which they verify as meeting the requirements to be listed in the e-catalogue. And then the e-catalogue is opened out to all procurers, so maybe all municipal buyers or all different departments of the government can then use the contract developed by the central purchasing agency to buy directly from selected suppliers. So this requires a strong central procurement agency that can develop contracts, very large scale contracts that serve a large pool of procurers, and do so in a way that's compliant with procurement legislation. An example of a framework agreement based e-catalogue is in the city of Bremen, which is a federal state of Germany. So here the Brekat catalogue is developed by the Purchasing and Procurement Center, which is the central purchaser for the state. But it can be used by all federal and all municipal buyers. And yes, so the e-catalogue is based on a frame contract, and you can see here a screenshot from the e-catalogue. So as a buyer, you can see all of the, in this example, all of the office chairs that are available, And you can see that these office chairs have all been awarded an eco-label. And when you click on one of them, you get a pop-out and you can see exactly what eco-labels it has. So in this case, it has a Blue Angel eco-label, the FSC and the PEFC eco-labels. You can also see the kind of useful product specifications. You can see the delivery time. And if you were a registered buyer, you would also be able to see the price. So for the municipal buyer, for example, they don't have to develop a call for suppliers. All they can do is simply go onto the catalogue, look what's already available, what's already been checked by the Central Procurement Agency, and directly place an order. So it's a huge time-saving exercise. The next example of an e-catalogue is e-catalogues that allow under-threshold procurement. So in this case, it's necessary that direct purchasing is allowed, or that procurers can request quotations directly from selected suppliers. What really helps in these cases is that there's a Type 1 eco-label available in the market. This means that the verification has already been taken care of by a third party, and that a central procurement agency or another relevant actor exists who can manage the e-catalogue and verifies that the suppliers meet the suitability requirements for supplying the public sector. This goes beyond the sustainability aspects and also includes things like their turnover, their compliance with VAT rules and so on. So all of the different supplier criteria that has to be checked before purchase can be made. So in this case, that's done by the Central Procurement Agency. All of the suppliers who meet these requirements can then get listed on the e-catalogue, and procurers can then just buy directly from them, safe in the knowledge that these suppliers are suitable and able to provide sustainable products. There's some examples of this. In Indonesia, this is the system that's used by the Catalog Electronic and Toko Daring. And in Italy, they also have a similar system, the MIPA system. And all of the examples that I refer to in this presentation can be found in the publication as well for more information. The third example, the central bulk purchasing type of e-catalogue, is something that we've only come across in the Republic of the Philippines, but it's very, very interesting, the system that they use. The Department of Budget and Management, the procurement service, which acts as a central purchaser, buys common use items in bulk and then makes these available to the rest of the public sector through an online catalogue. So in this case, the Central Procurement Agency is issuing the call for competition. It's then receiving the bids and verifying their suitability, awarding the contract, buying the goods and storing them in a warehouse, and then showing other public buyers what's available in the warehouse using an e-catalogue. So users can buy directly from the bulk items that have been purchased. And in the Philippines, they have developed GPP criteria for these common use supplies. So that makes it much easier for kind of users and municipalities to access these goods. And then the final example of an e-catalogue that we found in practice was e-catalogues that have been developed by suppliers for a specific single contract. So in this case, a procurer issues a call for competition. They receive bids and they verify these bids and award the contract to one supplier. And this supplier is then responsible for creating an e-catalogue that makes it easier for different users of the contract, so maybe different departments or different municipalities, to buy from this contract. This is a bit of a amalgamation between the framework agreement, because the procurer might be using a framework agreement contract, and as we saw above, the central bulk purchasing, in that all of the contract award is already done before the supplier develops the e-catalogue. The easiest way to picture this is to look at an example. So the government of Flanders has used this system. Flanders is a regional government in Belgium, and the regional government used a framework agreement to develop to buy its stationery supplies. This was a 4-year contract with a 2 million budget. So it's a very large contract because they were buying stationery for the entire region. But they awarded this to one supplier, and they required the supplier to develop a web shop where all government offices could order their stationery from. And in the contract, they required that eco-labeled products were available, and they also awarded the contract based on the quality of the web shop that the supplier could develop. It is necessary still to monitor the delivery of the contract, so to check that the eco-label products really are available in the e-shop once it's available. And another thing to consider is that only very large suppliers are probably likely to have the capability to also develop e-tools. So it does restrict the competition, and it was only suitable when there's suppliers with these kind of capabilities in your region. So there's a lot of new concepts here, I think. But just to recap, that we have considered 2 main different types of digital tools. The first being the e-catalogue, which is the buying type of tool, or the online shop where buyers can buy directly. And then there's the e-marketplace kind of tool, which is more information, where procurers can check what's available on the market, but they still need to develop their own tenders and assess bids. These differences mean that there's these types of tools have different potentials to overcome barriers. So in the e-catalogue, there's a high potential to overcome the lack of SPP skills, because it completely eliminates this need to develop and apply SPP criteria for your average procurer. Whereas e-marketplaces, it still requires procurers who can apply SPP criteria and evaluate bids. Another way in which an e-catalogue really helps is by enabling direct ordering, which saves a lot of time. Whereas e-marketplaces, while they can save time in market research, they still require the tendering time for most procurements. What both do very well is increase confidence in the effectiveness of SPP, because both show very clearly to procurers that sustainable products are available in their market, and give them the information about cost and technical specifications. So they both do a lot to increase confidence that SPP is possible. However, what they don't do, either of these digital tools, is empower SPP procurers to choose SPP on their own. Procurers still need to choose to buy sustainably, especially if an e-catalogue is showing conventional products and sustainable products. So procurers still need to be empowered by their management, by politicians, and maybe by legal mandatory requirements to use sustainable public procurement. The visibility of sustainable products is also variable in the e-catalogue. What we found in our research is that there's actually no e-catalogues currently exclusively focused on sustainable products, most of them still include conventional products and sustainable products together. So again, this means that sustainable products still need to compete against conventional products, whereas e-marketplaces have been developed specifically to increase the visibility of sustainable products. So in this sense, e-marketplaces have a little bit more kick when it comes to promoting the visibility of sustainable services. And finally, monitoring and evaluation. The e-catalogue is very powerful in enabling monitoring and evaluation because it allows data on the number of green products to be collected automatically. Whereas e-marketplaces, it's difficult to know how much procurers are really consulting the information in the e-marketplace when making their procurement decisions. So it doesn't have as direct impact. But to finish up my presentation, there are 5 principles for effective digital tools, whether e-catalogues or e-marketplaces, which we think should always be respected when developing these tools. The first is that all of the information in the tools is credible. This means that the claims must be verified. Someone has to check that the products listed in these tools are indeed sustainable. And one very effective way of doing this is to use eco-labels, because those have already been checked. Another principle is that these tools are inclusive. First, it has to be open to all suppliers to apply to be in these tools and to qualify to be in these tools in order to respect competition rules. But they should also be inclusive in terms of their users. That means that if you want all municipal governments to be able to buy from a tool, it should be ensured that the products are suitable for all municipal governments, that they can be delivered to all parts of the country, and that they meet rural needs as well as urban needs and vice versa. Of course, digital tools have to be easy to use. They have to have all of the useful data. They should make use of search functions, and it should be possible to filter results. Anything that makes their use intuitive, that will help encourage procurers to actually make use of these tools. They also have to be up to date. They have to keep pace with technological advancements, and they have to be revalidated periodically to check that the products still have the certifications, and to check that suppliers still meet the requirements to supply to the public sector. And last but not least, they have to be visible. Developing these tools takes resources. It takes a lot of investment by central procurement agencies or other government agencies and the like who run these tools. So it really needs to be worth the while, and make sure that the maximum amount of procurers are making use of this as possible. So thank you very much for your attention. As I said, there's a lot of new terms and a lot of different subcategories presented in this. So please do ask questions. We can return to any slides and clarify any points. And please also check out the publication and find more details of all of the case studies and more in there. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Ashley, this was amazing. It gave us a very good overview about the world of e-marketplaces and e-catalogues and the advantages and disadvantages. As you have mentioned before, I would open the floor for question and answer, but at this pace, I see that there has been no question and answer asked, but I have one, if I may ask you, Ashley. Because in the last 2 principles that you have mentioned mentioned up to date and worthwhile of developing means being very widespread. I was wondering, because these tools are quite expensive and difficult to develop, and especially also difficult to maintain and keep them up to date, ensure that they are populated with products, ensure that the right categories are met, and so on. So I was wondering, if you also found in your different studies interesting business models behind these e-marketplaces and e-catalogues that you might want to share with us.
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think it's a really interesting question, and I hope that that's something that we can actually hear more of today from some of the owners of these tools, is how they develop them, because it's not something that was so clear in the research. What I did find is there's cases in some countries where the use of the e-catalogue is mandatory, especially if it's based on framework agreements by central procurement agencies. Then by mandating the use of a framework agreement where it exists, it means that they can get the maximum market impact. So that is one, it's not a business case, but it's one route in ensuring that a lot of people are using the e-catalogues. Another business case that I'm aware of in Europe is that some central procurement agencies do charge for the use of their framework agreements. So they require public agencies to make a contribution to the administrative fee required behind setting up a framework agreement. But I think that's a really interesting question that I would be very interested in hearing from the other speakers about as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have one question that's coming in, Ashley, that's also to you. We have heard that an e-marketplace and an e-catalog is very practical for countries that have an eco-label. What initiatives should be taken for countries that not yet have an eco-label and are just on the verge of developing one? So where can you see that there is a chance of doing this?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's necessary to have an eco-label. I think that the digital tools like an e-market and e-catalog, they combine very well with an eco-label, and they help to increase the impact of an eco-label. So it's not just that the eco-label helps them, but they help the eco-label. So there's a lot of synergies between them, but it's not necessary. What is required is a third party that verifies the sustainability of the product. So if an eco-label doesn't exist, then there has to be an agency that can take test reports and other evidence that proves the sustainability of the product and check these to make sure that it meets the requirements. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, very much so. I think it's very difficult when you not yet have an eco label, right? And eco label really eases the process of having this verification mechanism in place, right? I think that's very clear. We have one more question, which is basically goes in a direction of monitoring and evaluation. Do one of the systems that you have mentioned also track cost efficiency and impacts, greenhouse gas, environmental impacts?
Yeah, I mean, it would be very easy to do this with the data that would be collected from an e-catalog, because it would be known how much of each product was purchased, what the cost of these products were, and what the environmental specifications of these products were. So by developing a formula, it would be possible to convert all of this into greenhouse gas impacts, and it would also provide the data necessary to estimate the life cycle costs. So I think that would be possible. I can't think of any right now off the top of my head that do this, but I can get back to you over the course of the presentation if one comes to mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the last questions we have, but then we have to break because we're like a little bit over time already, but there will be more time for questions. So don't stop, please, pumping the questions into the chat. The last question that we have is, again, to Ashley, did you see any significant results, possibly from the study, to show that the e-catalog contributes to the impact? Meaning, basically, also, have you basically been seeing a drastic spike in green procurement once an e-catalog has been introduced?
It's a really interesting question. I would say in general that there's not a great amount of data collected in any country on how much GPP is being done, which was the topic of our previous dialogue series on monitoring and evaluation. So it would be great if you could track over time the impact of different initiatives, but I haven't seen that data. I can only assume that there would be a spike because it would make green products just much more widely available. So these are assumptions based, of course, because there's not that much data on GPP. But by having an e-catalog, it would be possible to start increasing the amount of data being collected and seeing how different contracts increase the purchasing from the e-catalog.
I'm going back because there's one more interesting question from the Philippines, and again to you here, you have been overwhelmed here with the questions. Very interesting question, and I will read it out. How do you plan for price escalations, which we are currently facing in Europe very strongly, like index and fuel-related prices, increased for framework agreement contracts, and ensure that sustainable principles were followed in delivering products given the high costs of raw inputs? Shall I repeat it, or do you get it?
That's a really interesting question and a really important question. First of all, I'd say that a lot of this comes down to the length of the framework agreement and why selecting an appropriate length of contract is very important. So the practice of setting a relatively short time frame depending on the product type. So this would be a good example of products that have energy related costs or where the speed of technological advancement is fast. Then it might be more suitable to go for a shorter framework agreement period like 2 years, with the possibility to extend the contract by a further 1 or 2 years. This means that if you need to renegotiate the contract, you don't have to wait too long to do it. But if everything's going fine, then you can extend it and save yourself the time of launching a new purchase. So that would be one tactic. Monitoring contract delivery is also very important. But yeah, it could be that some renegotiation is possible and that the possibilities to renegotiate in cases where the terms of the contract change drastically. I think it's just about having good contract conditions to really make sure that these unexpected events can be adjusted for, and that ultimately the contract doesn't last too long in cases where price variability might impact it.
Yeah, a very interesting question, especially in these times where inflation and these old ghosts coming back also to Europe. Thank you very much for all these super interesting questions. I really am excited that there is really like a back and forth, but I have to cut because we are over time. So I would like to now invite Kunjarin from the Pollution Control Department to join us here on the floor. She will give us a presentation on green e-catalogues in Thailand. I saw in the presentation already before that it's not going to be only on the green card, but the whole variety of tools that are available in Thailand. Kunjarin, the floor is yours.
สวัสดีค่ะ everyone. Good afternoon from Thailand. Nice to see you all again. Today I will share you about the green e-catalog in Thailand. I think this is happened everywhere in the world. There are so many logos and labels. So Ashley already present to us there is a barrier for the markets, also to the public, that people don't understand all the means of the logos and they cannot choose what to buy, don't know what to buy. So what we do in Thailand is we starting to do the database that we already screen for the eco label. It's not only the eco label but the environmental friendly product and service into display it into the database, electronic database, to help the procurer and also the general public to choose what to buy if they want to be cleaner. In Thailand, we have at least 2 web-based or that database. One for the government procurer that is belong to my agency, which you all know about the green card application. And another one is Thai Eco Product, is to the general public. The database is much bigger. Let's start from the green card. The green card that Ashley already talked a bit for you. The green card application of mine is related to the Ministry of Finance ministerial regulation of the prescription supply that the state need to promote and supply. They state that if the agency wants to buy the green product, they can come to select one from the website of Pollution Control Department, that is gp/pct/.go.th, and we have also in the mobile application, and we show you. First of all, I would have to tell you that the green card criteria is the product or the service that has at least the minimum performance or standard compared to the typical standard and have some environmental friendly criteria applied to that product. And in Thailand, to be for the easier understanding, is mean the eco labeling label type 1 and then minus something, or and also other criteria I will show you here. The green card database now contain these all logos. The first one is, I told you already, this eco labeling type 1 of Thailand, the green label. And here the green leaf is belongs to the hotel service, also this G green. The G green here is belongs to our neighbor, the Department of Environmental Quality Promotion. They are also auditing the SME, the hotel in the medium size and small size to make them greener hotel. And this is a side of the green card. Also for the product that don't have any specific environmental criteria, they can apply to the green card by doing the carbon footprint reduction program. They have to monitor their carbon footprint for at least 2 years and reduce their carbon footprint emission at least 2%, or at least they have to be lower than the average carbon emission of the product in their level. And this is a Kumo sign is for the textile that has the better feeling of the user, so we don't have to turn on the air condition for too low temperature. And this is the look of our website. Yeah. And for the website here, the procurer have to come to check for the list of the product if they are available in the green product of the category or not. If it's available, they can buy directly from, they can choose the model and then buy directly from the seller of in nearby area from their side. But this database is not only for checking for the product. Also, if the agency wants to report their implementation results of the of buying green public procurement, they also can report their procurement into the system for us also, but they have to register for the membership first, and then they can report from this website. But if they just want to check for the green product, they can also download the application from Apple Store or Google Store to check if there are green product available or not. And this is all about the green card application for the government side. For the general public, as a Monway, we work together with the FTI, the Federal Thai Industry, and also other public sector to create another website web-based called Thai Eco Product to show the more eco label in Thailand and the bigger list of the green product in our country. They are using as a 24-ounce 24-ounce green light. They can choose either from the living room or any kinds of their living or any from some time of their behavior if they want to categorize by the behavior of them, and the label cover in this eco product is much bigger. They have also the energy number 5 in Thailand. This is the most famous label in Thailand. All Thai people knows about energy number 5. People prefer to buy this product because of the saving of the energy, and also the private sector self-declaration label that is SCG Eco Value and others. And also for this Thai Eco product, they have also the Green Card mobile application. This is not only the catalog they can check, but they also have the kinds of point correcting program that you can take the photos of the slip or the receipt you buy the green product and send to the system, and then they will give you the point of collecting point of buying the green product, and then you can correct this point to use as a discount for buying another green product, or maybe to do the lucky draw monthly. And also from this application you can find the promotion of the green shop or the green hotel that join the program also. This is the way we try to initiate or encourage the awareness of the user in Thailand. And also now in the government sector, we have the Thai E-marketplace piloting for the government procurement called here we call in Thai, normally people know it as the EGP, but for this system only the agile procurer can log into the system, and they have to do all tender in the electronic form. They have both electronic catalog and the manufacturer have to register their product into the catalog, and if the agency wants to buy, they have to post their quotation here, what and how much they want to buy on, and then the system will support them on the procurement system. The quotation will be required for the procurement of the price over 500,000 baht to 5 million baht. Will do the competition of the price by the quotation request. But if the procurement value of more than 5 million baht, the auction is required for that procurement. But this system is not yet open for the public. As I told you, only assigned procurer and also the salesperson have to register to enter this system, so no other people cannot see the process of the system yet. Only the people who assign only. And that is some lastly about what happened in Thailand about the e-catalog and e-marketplace nowadays. Thank you very much.
Yes, Kunjarin, thank you very much. It's really impressive what you're doing in Thailand, and I'm really seeing these catalogs developing and popping up. For me, for example, the online tool developed by FTI was not even on my screen. So thank you very much for presenting us and showing also how you promote eco-labeled products beyond the public sector. The green card has been with us for many years, and it's a very interesting and powerful tool. And we have discussed a couple of times internal that one of the things is that monitoring is not yet available. But very interesting that we are developing further. I would don't see any questions in the chat yet, so I would like to encourage our audience to again ask questions. But prior to having another question and answer round, I would now request Ibu Dwi to present us the best practices from her country, from Indonesia. She is from the Central Procurement Agency, LKPP, one of our very good partners in our project, and she will present us about e-procurement and e-catalogs. Ibu Dwi, without further ado, the word is yours.
Thank you very much, Pak Kai. Very good afternoon for all of our colleagues in Asia, and very good morning to our colleagues in Europe. My name is Dwi Wahyuni Kartianingsi from LKPP, and in this opportunity, I would like to give a brief presentation on e-catalogs on online stores in the government procurement of Indonesia and its role in boosting not only sustainability in government procurement, but in Indonesia, we use these two tools, e-catalog and online store, actually for all of our government procurement. So one of it is a green product. And then I will show you how the e-catalog and online stores going on implementation. Next slide, please. Yeah, as some of you may already know that National Public Procurement Agency of Indonesia, or LKPP, have duties to provide technical infrastructure and transaction support service to both government institutions and providers in the government procurement processes. All of this in accordance to our regulation, Presidential Regulation number 16, year 2018, regarding government procurement. There is article that mention these duties for us. And to fulfill that duties, ladies and gentlemen, LKPP come up with several strategies in harnessing information technologies to develop e-marketplace for government procurement. As you see in this slide, LKPP established e-catalog short for electronic catalog, yeah, in bahasa, and toko daring, which literally means online store in Indonesian language. And the third one, there's a general one, supplier selection through electronic procurement system, or SPSE. So e-catalog is managed by us, LKPP, and related ministry, agency, or local government. So all of government institutions actually have that kind of duty in order to implement our e-marketplace. Meanwhile, for toko daring or online shop are organized by utilizing existing e-marketplace, which one of the prototypes is toko daring, we call it, is bela pengadaan. Bela pengadaan is direct purchasing, actually. This is the program initiated by LKPP to support the development of the macro, small, and medium enterprises market. So currently, ladies and gentlemen, the fastest way for providers to be onboarding in the procurement government is through electronic catalog and online stores or toko daring. So how this e-catalog and toko daring works, we will see the next slide, please. So first, we have to understand several different catalog in our system. Basically, we have three types of electronic catalog. The first one is a national catalog. Yeah, national catalog is managed by LKPP and contain all product that needs in all of government entities in nationwide. So the scope is very huge, nationwide. Meanwhile, sectoral catalogs is e-catalog, which is managed by ministry or agencies. For example, Ministry of Public Works. Ministry of Public Works manage their own catalogs for construction material. Or another example is Ministry of Health. This Ministry of Health which manage their medical equipment and medicine catalog. So there is a sectoral limitation. The third one is local catalog. This is the catalog managed by subnational level. We call it a local government. For example, actually now we have 500 local government actually, and now under the progress, all of local government, we push them to have their own local government, local catalog, I mean. So this local government of provincial government, for example, in East Java, or municipal government of North Labuan Batu in North Sumatra, they have their own catalog and they manage their own catalog. So actually, in national level, the product, like I said before, that product needs by national level and has been justified to be included based on product review by catalog team before they list in national catalog. So in the next slide, we will show you how e-catalog works. Yeah, you already see in this slide. In the left side of this slide, ladies and gentlemen, we present to you how the vendor can become registered in process of catalog. First step for e-provider to be listed as vendor in e-catalog, first they must have an account, yeah, SPS account, and be registered in SICAP. SICAP is Vendor Performance Information System established by us, LKPP. And then after that, if they already did this registration, then vendor can register product and company's data on e-catalog. And then after this, the product will automatically appear in the catalog and can be purchased via e-purchasing. Yeah. And the right side in this slide, during the product registering process in e-catalog, vendor will list their product in corresponding product showcase. So in the same time, we, LKPP, establish the product showcase or etalase product. So if the showcase already exists, actually, if the showcase already developed by LKPP, that means vendor can immediately proceed in registering their product and company's data on e-catalog. Yeah, this is the green line showing here. So this means vendor will list their product correspondent, company data on e-catalog. But if the showcase has not developed yet, this means vendor can initiate product listing proposal to the catalog team of the institution which manages the e-catalog. Then this team will develop this etalase or product showcase. And then after the new showcase established, so vendor can start to register product and company's data on e-catalog, just like the other step in this slide in the left side. How about the next step? Okay, I will show you in the next slide how the type of purchasing method. Yeah. So during the purchasing process, ladies and gentlemen, procurement authorities in government institutions can select several methods in purchasing through e-catalog. So if there is a e-catalog, but still there is there is still a price negotiation like that. Yeah, I will explain to you. First, regarding price negotiation, this price negotiation can be carried out by taking into account the result of the preparation, including technical specifications, domestic products, and SMSE product, small and medium product, and also price reference. So there is also price negotiation. Although there is e-catalog, yeah, still there is need to price negotiation. And the second option of this e-catalog process, there is mini competition actually. So this mini competition can be conducted against 2 or more e-catalog vendor who have the same product or products with similar specification required by our procurement officer with the aim of getting the best price, of course. Yeah. So there is a competition as well. And then for the third option, competitive catalog, currently it can only be conducted for simple or uncomplex construction work in the form of basic construction component, which are then compared through the system. So this is how we implement the e-catalog. And in the next slide, we will explain to you regarding toko daring or online shopping, online shop. Yeah. In this slide, ladies and gentlemen, toko daring or online shops is an information system developed by us, LKPP, to facilitate the procurement of goods and services through the electronic trading provider or PPMSA in the form of an online marketplace or online retails. Yeah. So we have our official partner of toko daring. Yeah. In its implementation, LKPP cooperates with existing online marketplace and online retails, including the integration of the purchasing system. So not all of toko daring can be one of our online shop, but this toko daring or online shop, first we have to cooperate first with LKPP. So until now, ladies and gentlemen, there are, I think, about 30 toko daring or 30 online shop has already our official marketplace partner. Yeah, this one in the bottom. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, toko daring or online shop channel that is already operating is Bela Pengadaan, just like I said before. It is initiated to facilitate and increase the inclusion of local product from small and micro enterprises in government procurement. Bela Pengadaan is the example for social aspect implementation of SPP, as you already may know. To join the toko daring, all of MSME, micro, small, and medium enterprises, and merchant needs to register with the marketplace or online retailer who are LKPP official partner. So until now, ladies and gentlemen, I can inform you that our target for this year is 1 million product to be settled in our e-catalog as well as toko daring. So 1 million product is not it's not easy to coordinate with this kind of business. And product showcase that has been displayed on the toko daring can be seen in the box in the right of my slide. Yeah, this is actually 10 showcase. Yeah, 10 showcase that government institution always needs. Yeah, so this is the main needs of our government entities. Yeah, as you see here, office stationery. So there are eco-label actually. There are eco-label products that are displayed there. Yeah, such as photocopy paper and box file. So is it very nice if we have one special toko daring for eco-label. So it's very easy for us to monitor them. So we are under that process actually. I think that's all for my presentation. I think Pak Ari in this next session will explain to you in more detail. So allow us to introduce our motto. Pengadaan kredibel sejahterakan bangsa means credible procurement for the welfare of the people. So thank you very much. Good afternoon. Back to you, Pak Kai. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ibu Dwi. This was really exciting to hear the toko daring case, especially. I really like it because one of my questions that I have posed at the very beginning was answered through that presentation. Do you have a private sector business case behind it? And when I see who are the official partners of toko daring, these are all well-known companies which are very capable of running and managing online catalogs. And I think this is one of the main achievements to look here into public-private partnerships to basically have this development of these tools outsourced to the private sector. And then eventually having also a business case behind it. It would be very interesting if we can ask this question also to Pak Ari in the upcoming debate. Yeah, with this, I would like to open the question rounds. If there are more questions, please put them into the chat. To Kunjarin, unfortunately, she has to leave. She is very busy in these days. But I'm sure that we can ask more questions also during the question and answer session and the moderated debate. So with this, I would like to start the last part of our webinar today, and I would like to invite Mr. Siam. He comes from the Malaysian Mahijau Directory Development. Mahijau is he's the executive sustainable consumption and production manager in the MGTC. MGTC is the Malaysian Green Technology Center that is responsible for green pipe procurement in Malaysia. Also, Ibu Dwi has already introduced Pak Ari. He is also very close supporting with our project here in scaling SCP, and try to introduce us a little bit about more about Tokodaring if there are questions, and also the central procurement government system SIRUP that Ibu Dwi was introducing. Would you open your phones and cameras, please? Ibu Siam, are you here? Mr. Siam, are you here? Mr. Ari, Pakari, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. How are you, Kai?
Good to hear your voice.
Yes.
Good. Thank you very much that you joined us today. We have roughly 30 minutes left. We have to speed up a little bit. Please introduce yourself and then provide us with a short introduction of your e-marketplace and e-catalog, and specify whether it's an e-marketplace, means an information tool, or an e-catalog tool. And how is it used for, or is it enabling direct purchasing and ordering?
Okay.
First, I will start with Pakari. Start, please.
Okay, thank you, Kai. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ari. I am acting as a policy analysis to Directorate of Catalog System Development. I'm also the same institution with Bu Dwi, National Public Procurement Agency, Republic of Indonesia. At the first presentation, I think Bu Dwi is already present this is process of the e-catalog and also Tokodaring. At this time, maybe I just to add some. Can I share screen to show? Yeah. Can you see the?
Perfect. Go ahead.
Huh?
It was there.
Yes. Yeah, because it's not really clear here. Maybe. Yes. Yeah.
Perfect. Leave it there. Leave it there. It's perfect.
Yeah.
No.
I cannot see the.
You go to the e-catalog.
Yeah. Maybe I will try again. Oh yeah. Just to show you that this is the example of the one of the product showcase in local government, which is so that we already make a label for the product that lists in showcase product, which is small business. Yeah, small business. We can see this is the label, and this label keep the information for the procurement entities to consider whether it is SPP product or no. And we can see also directly to the product. It is paper, yeah, for this example. We see that in that paper it's already eco-label sign, yeah. So the procurement entities can directly see the paper is already meet the criteria of the SPP product. Maybe I can show the other example. Like this. Yeah, it takes time. Yeah, it is the product showcase of the LED. So LED is also already listed in our catalog system. I think it takes time, but yeah, yeah.
Jennifer.
Yeah, what I want to say that Kay, that we can make a label to the showcase product, but I agree with what's uh, the presenter in the first presentation said, that it is easy to procurement entity if the availability of the product is already in the market. Because if we give the activity of setting criteria of the SPP product to the procurement entity, it will be not easy, because the capacity of the procurement entity is not the same in the central government and also in the local government. If they must set up the criteria of the SPP product and also set up how to evaluate whether the product is already meet the criteria or not, I think it's takes time, yeah, because it needs the same understanding of the SPP criteria itself. So for the catalog or toko daring, if the product with eco label or maybe just stop it. Maybe the SMS label also tagging at the product, it give clear direction to the procurement entities in central government, local government, or in the ministry, sectoral government, like Bu Dwi said, to buy and to declare that they already buy the product which meet the criteria of the SPP. I think for the trigger of this discussion, I just say like that. Mr. K, over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was helpful. I mean, we can see that the CDOP, the central system, is already a more powerful instrument, listing
Yeah.
many products, as I can
Yeah.
see, and also now starting to list small businesses. So one of the
Yes.
priority of the Indonesian government is to specifically foster SMEs.
Yes.
And the second aspect now is also that it lists eco-labeled products. Of
Yeah.
course, it would be great if it could also be filtered via eco-labeled product. We will see if this can be added in a later stage. But
Yeah.
now I would like to also kindly ask Mr. Siam from Mahijau to provide us some of the opening presentation. Mr. Siam, are you here?
Okay. Clear, is it?
Yeah, perfect. We can hear you.
Thank you. Can I see the slide?
Yes, here we have the
Okay.
Mahijau.
Nice. Okay, thank you, Miss Sarah. Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good morning and afternoon to all the participants. First of all, I would like to thank GIZ to give me an opportunity to do presentation today. Today, I will talk about Mahijau Directory in Malaysia and its movement to support e-marketplace. From the bigger picture, Mahijau program is one government initiative to support development of green technology that was approved by the National Green Technology and Climate Change Council (MTHPI) Malaysia in 23rd October 2012. It covers two focus areas: sustainable production, which focus on production of green products and services, including preventing pollution and clean production, and sustainable consumption, which focus on consumption of green products and services, including promotion and encouragement activities to buy and use green products and services. MyHijau Mark Recognition Scheme and MyHijau Directory are the two components under MyHijau program, which launched in 2013, 1 year after the overall program being launched in 2020. And then MyHijau Mark is is Malaysia official green recognition endorsed by government of Malaysia, bringing together certified green products and services that meet local and international environmental standard under one single mark. MyHijau Directory is online platform for procurers, government ministries and members of the green public to find information about all green products and services that have been recognized under MyHijau. Okay, the program is being carried out by Malaysian Green Technology and Climate Change Corporation, MGTC, an agency under Ministry of Green Technology and Water Malaysia. Basically, the companies need to comply to the MyHijau Mark requirement and submit the application via online at www.myhijau.my, either for product or service application. Once approved, their product or service will be listed at MyHijau Directory website and MyHijau apps. Okay, the requirement, if we can see on our slide here, basically product requirement, they need to qualify to either one of these, which is eco-label certification, ISO 14024 type 1 eco-label, or green label certification 14025 type 3 eco-label, or green label certification other type 1 other type 1 like voluntary sustainable scheme, VSS, and number 4 is performance standard compliance, means that they need to comply either one of these to comply for product requirement. And then for service requirement, the product, the company must meet the service requirement. The company must employ at least one manager or supervisor, and then they need to have a green policy and written procedure or guideline in order to comply to MyHijau requirement. Once approved, the company will the product or services will be listed in MyHijau Directory, as we can see on our right side, and then will listed also in MyHijau apps lah. And then we will give chance for the products, recognized product under MyHijau to be shown in our green gallery at our office. And then the product or services that been recognized will receive information page for them to download from the directory later on. And then MyHijau Mark certificate, as you can see at the down of the logo there. So this is the MyHijau Mark certificate, so that the approved company will receive for their product or services. Still can hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, because it's written here your internet connection is unstable. Okay, later on, the company in order, on top of this certification, recognition and listing online, the company will the directory will be referred as a source for green government procurement and green public procurement. And then number 2, the product registered may be eligible for green investment tax allowance, AGITA, for tax services. And also number 3 is new service provider registered may be eligible for green income tax exemption. This is the benefits for them to get registered under this MyHijau Directory and also MyHijau Mark lah. This is our performance based on our past few years until March 2022. And then later on, we have collaborated with one new marketplace provider, which is we call it as Odela. They will be with us as a partner, as our partner relation, to list all the products that we have been recognized under MyHijau and also the service under MyHijau at their marketplace, so that the visitor or procurer will able to buy from this marketplace without any problem or any issue lah. Because at this point of time, my hijau directory is not yet being converted to marketplace or e-catalog yet. We just listing to provide information to all the visitors lah. I think that's all from me for the introduction session.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is very comprehensive. I really appreciate also that you have started to put one mark for easing the identification of green products and uniting all the eco labels under one mark. I think this is a very smart decision to basically support customers to identify green products that are certified and verified by the government very quickly. And having this one mark also being then like this Mahijao mark also being listed in one platform, like one green marketplace, makes a lot of sense. Of course, what is missing is now the aspect of green catalog, so that the government can directly procure using the Mahijao catalog. But okay, I think these are the next steps, and I think the cooperation that you have initiated with Odella, as far as I understood, will enable this. We have a question that was asked by Doris to, I think, Pak Ari. Please, how user-friendly is the e-catalog? That means at the central level, I suppose. Sirup, how long has it been in existence, and have you carried out any user survey to ensure its efficiency and user-friendliness? Pak Ari, would you mind answering this question?
Yeah, thank you, Kay. LKPP actually starting develop the catalog since 2012, and now it's still continuing to improve, because the challenging is like Abu Dwi said, that we have 1 million target showcase product to list in the system. And because the user is come from all of the institution in Indonesia, central government, sectoral government, and also local government, the system should be what we call it agile, and we still continue to improve the system. Including of that is we now still develop the detailed feature of how to monitoring the user experience, when they access the system, when they use the system. But we also have user complaint system, although it is not already in the system. We have social media, phone, email to respond when the user is complain to our system, or give the suggestion or the idea to make the system is more user friendly. Thank you.
Yes, I would like to go now to compare the two tools that have been only very quickly introduced, which is the Tokodaring approach from the LKPP, and then also the Odella approach from Malaysia. A question to both of you. Let's start maybe with Odella. Who is operating the tool? Is it the government, or is it the private sector, or is it third party? And how do you control the operation as a government?
Okay, thank you, Kai. Okay, this Mahijau directory is government based. It's carried out by Malaysian Green Technology Corporation, and Climate Change Corporation (MGTC), an agency under Ministry of Green Technology and Water, Malaysia. So once we have approved this application being submitted under product or service application, once approved, the product and service will be listed under my hijau directory website and my hijau apps. So means that after we have reviewed their requirement, whether the product and service being met, then only we will able to provide the list to our partner. For in this case is Odela, for Odela to list and add their platform for the procurers will able to see their listing at that platform. Means that we will really make sure that the product listed in Odela, our platform, our partner platform, is really being vetted by our side, and Odela platform will like manage a sticker to put on the products being approved to say that this is a green product and green services, to separate or to segregate between that green product and services with the normal product listed in Odela, because Odela platform comprises of mix of products, means that have products in green sector and also not green sector. So our approach to have a sticker of my hijau logo to be put on the product being listed in Odela, so that people can easily find. This is our first approach with Odela platform lah. Later on, we will have like some sort of integration system to control how we want to publish in the Odela platform.
Very interesting. Pak Ari, would you able to answer this? Would you be able to answer this question also for the Toko Daring approach in Indonesia?
Yeah. Thank you, Kay. We collaborate with our official partner to integrate the system. The activity like this for the to get the user account to entry to the system is managed by our system here. But when it is come to the process of the purchasing, it's entry to the official partner system. So like we said that there is 30 partner, yeah. So its official partner have its system. Then they have to follow some like service regulation agreement that we agree at the first when they onboarding to the official partner, and also they have to give a report, yeah, and also give the data to us so we can do monitoring and evaluation about the transaction, what products is tend to purchase by user and etc. Thank you. Okay.
Yes, there is a question I think that follows up a little bit on this, but let's see how we start get the flow of the discussion going. The question is again towards Toko Daring. Could you please share on how you communicate the benefits of buying green to the target users? Means basically the public procurer. In which aspect directly to the environmental climate change or as co-benefits? And how do you do this? I think if I understand, Toko Daring has been so far developed mostly to promote SMEs.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And now coming towards, now expanding to green. So how will you, I would suggest, how will you communicate the benefits for buying green to target users?
Yeah. At the first, we communicate to the buyer, yeah, the procurer. That's the one of the purpose of the government procurement in Indonesia that is set it in regulation, that we have to prioritize the one of the SPP criteria that that's small business entities. And after that, we communicate to our partner that if they list product that's already have SPP criteria, it will be first priority to buy by the government. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's two-way communication. At the government, we push they have to prioritize the SPP product, and for the partner, we tell the information that the direction of the regulation is to the SPP. One of this direction, and also the purpose of the government procurement is to buy and to improve the SPP product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I saw already that the SME was tagged in Tokodaring, right?
Yeah.
And I think that not yet eco-labeled. How
Yeah,
are
not
you
yet.
in how in Malaysia are you planning to do this with Odella? Do you have already this system in place?
Sorry, Kai, can you repeat the question again?
Well, it's a question of in the Odella, if as far as I understand, the Odella is a B2B platform, right? So it's not a B2C platform, but it's a B2B platform. And it's also targeting SMEs of Malaysia to be promoted specifically. But on the other hand, we have also, now we're talking about green products. Is there a green tagging foreseen already in the system?
Okay, as I briefed just now, okay, thank you, Mr. Kai. As I briefed just now, actually, this is our starting point. We just engaged Odella, but our current dealing with Odella team, so we will put a sticker of Mahijau logo on top of the product or service listed at Odella platform. So the listing actually from both ways means that if company come to Mahijau and apply Mahijau and then recognize under Mahijau mark product or service, will be approved and listed in Mahijau directory, and then they will be pushed to Odella platform. The other way also, same thing. If they come directly to Odella platform later, once they see, oh, I can list the product here, and then Odella team will push the company to Mahijau to review again their criteria, the requirement, whether the product or service meet to the requirement of Mahijau or not. Then only we will approve and list it in Mahijau directory, and then once again go to Odella platform. That's our approach actually with Odella platform, to make sure the product and service is really meet the requirement, and then will eligible to use the logo later on.
So I understand that the SQL databases, they are basically linked to each other so that there is an exchange, right?
Yes.
That's a very good approach. I would like to understand one more aspect also, maybe to both of you, in regard to life cycle costing. One of the tool of comparing products to each other once we have a small competition, for example, is to not only compare the least costs, but also to compare them in regard to life cycle costing. And for this, we would need more criteria that are listed or that the ability of listing the product criteria in the platforms. Is this tool available, or will this be made available for Odella and also for Tokodaring?
Thank you, Mr. Kai. Okay, for Odella, at this point of time, we have we have a created initiative where we are preparing some product grouping. For example, chillers, electric products to be recognized under this life cycle costing, and also the impact of CO2 also, because we can measure from the reduction of energy being used there, so that we can proceed for life cycle costing on that particular product grouping, because we want to see whether we just pick a few product groups, because we want to see whether we can do it successfully on that, and then we will copy it to other product groups later on.
Wow, that's great. That's really fantastic. Can we also have this experience from Indonesia, maybe?
Yeah, it can be challenging, yeah, to do that, Kai, because
Mhm.
yeah, it is more as fun approach, I think. Because at the first we have to set the criteria first. So we have to communicate to our operational partner about the criteria. Then we also have to discuss how they do it, how to evaluate whether the product is already meet the criteria of life cycle, or whether the high score for the life score analysis or something like that. It would be challenging, but I think it takes time. It needs time to discuss it for to the official partner, because what they already do today is just only list the product that's already have label, green label or
Yeah.
label, or a small business label.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Very interesting. Yeah, I see that there is a lot of development happening in your countries, and really appreciate this. I would encourage now one more time to ask questions from the audience. We had very interesting questions already from the audience, but please feel free to pose further questions, also to Ashley, who is still here. And maybe then we can, otherwise I will start to wrap up. Definitely one of the questions that has been answered was the climate change benefits, which I think was quite interesting, how in Malaysia they're trying to develop the data and collect the data from the Oladella system to see the climate change benefits at a long term. I think that will greatly increase the M&E systems of the countries that we have discussed about also 1 month ago. Are there more questions? I don't see any questions. Then I would start to wrap up. Yes. First of all, I would like to thank Ashley and Ibu Dwi and Kunjarin, and also you, Pakari, and Mr. Siam, for these great inputs that you have provided us. These case studies were extremely interesting. Ashley has provided us a very good overview about the advantages and disadvantages of the existing tools and the best practices from around the world. Again, I would like to highlight that all these informations are also available in our publication that has been put in the chat a couple of times, so that you can read about these best practices. Then we have heard from Kunjarin about the interesting tools from Thailand, the green card, but also the newer B2C tool from the FTI, where green or eco products are listed and can be procured directly. Here, we didn't hear yet about the business case behind it, but it would be definitely interesting to hear that as well. Then we have heard from Ibu Dwi, a classical, let's say, central e-procurement system with an integrated e-catalog, which is ready to be used as a green purchasing platform with very few features. Maybe adding eco-label tagging would already allow this e-procurement platform to become very powerful to promote green products. Then we have learned from Pagari and Mr. Siam about the two very good examples from Odella and Tokodaring, those, let's say, business public-private partnerships models, which allow the private sector to develop powerful catalogs, e-catalog engines, and the public sector to promote their needs, either for SME promotion or, of course, for green products. So this was very interesting. Finally, we had also the example from Mahijao, a typical e-marketplace where these green products are available, including their technical specification, so that procurers are informed about these tools. In the scaling SCP projects that I'm the director of, we will work together with Malaysia on developing Odella and also developing the Mahijao platform and using them for green procurement at a municipal level to have also feedback from the users directly to, let's say, close the loop between user feedback and the developers. And we hope that we can also support LKPP in doing the same thing in Indonesia. With this, I would like to close the session today, and I would like to invite you at the same time for our next session. We will do a summer break for July, August, and September. We will not have any new series coming up, but I would like to invite you at the end of August, the 30th of August, and then to the 1st of September, no, 31st of August, sorry, 1st of September, we will have a conference here in Thailand, specifically targeting product lifetime extension as a new topic that is very big currently in the European Union, not yet so introduced in Southeast Asia. There are topics such as guarantees and warranties, which should also be listed on the e-procurement tools, which will come in to basically extend the lifetime of products. Then afterwards, as I've mentioned, we have in October, we start again with our dialogue series, and this will be on product service criteria, circular procurement, and product service system. Thank you very much for joining us today. And with this, I say goodbye and sawadee krap from Thailand.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank you,
very much.
Ken.